That people do, right? They put cold spoons on.
Live stream, go, go, go. Oh shit. All right, okay. The broadband's on fire today. Okay, let's do the basics. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your patience. My name is CJ, and welcome to the latest episode of the greatest, the mightiest, the world's most soon-to-be popular podcast, The Boys from Bossk. My name's CJ, and hopefully I'm joined by the most amazing, the glorious, the slightly tired, Big Dave! Big Dave, are you ready?
I suppose I've got no choice to be ready, I know.
I like it. You're born ready. That's how it goes. It's been a while.
Ready to party.
I'm just sending out a few invites to people. We've got some supporters who'll be with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining us. This is the latest edition of The Boys from Bossk. We thank you for joining us on this night. It's been a wild couple of weeks. There's been so much happening. In fact, that it's a bit I don't know, it's a bit weird, really, that there's been as much happening as there is. But here we are. It is what it is. I've watched so much stuff. I've had to write a lot of it down because I kept forgetting it. But in this week's show, we're going to be talking about the changes, some weird stuff going down at Disney. We'll be talking about the rapper that got dropped by Capital. They say over racist stereotyping, but it wasn't just racial stereotyping. It was just straight up racism. And we'll be going through a few of the latest trailers, including Pinocchio and Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, first reactions. On our weekly bounty for from the screen to the couch, we'll have House of Dragon, Sandman, Day Shift, Carter, and She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. I think that's everything I've got there. Did I miss anything, Dave?
What's Carter?
Oh, you didn't see Carter? I don't think you'd watch Carter, because I'll explain it when I do my review of Carter, but I don't think you would have watched it for one simple reason. The shaky cam. I know you're not a fan of shaky cam. Did you watch
live action
Hardcore?
shaky cam?
Yeah, did you watch Hardcore Henry?
Yes.
And how did you get on with that?
About 20 minutes.
There you go. You never watched Carter.
We started off with shaky cam, didn't it? As he jumped out the plane or whatever.
Yeah. But that's fair enough. I mean, these things happen. These things happen. But yeah, we'll be going on. We'll be seeing how it goes. Now, it's like I said, it's been one of those days. As such, the heat's been getting to us. We're in the build up to a lot of stuff coming out. We had the Sandman come out. We've got Lord of the Rings coming out soon, and then you've got, what's the other one? Hot D,
Andor.
House of the Dragon. Andor's also coming out. They dropped a new clip of that today as well. But anyway, let's get on with our main stories. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode. So, every now and again, something strange happens. Now, as far as I understood, Lionsgate, and I think it was Universal, own all the monster films. But in spite of this, Disney are doing a live-action version of King Kong. The old king of the what was King Kong king of, actually? King of the Monsters?
Yeah, Skull Island, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Disney have somehow gotten the rights to it, even though Universal own the rights to King Kong, and they're doing their own live action TV series. So that's going to be happening soon. You King Kong fan, Dave? Did the King strike your Kong?
I liked Skull Island a lot, and I didn't mind the last one too bad. Could have been better, but it was
What, the Kong
over
versus
dramatic.
Godzilla?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It was watchable.
Godzilla. It was silly. It was like watching a wrestling match.
It
It
was
was,
yeah, but it was watchable. It just reminded me a bit like playing the game Rampage as a kid. I suppose.
yeah, only because there was no plot or script. Like literally, they didn't waste it. It had some plot in it, which is bad. Do you remember that Total Recall, the modern version they done,
Oh,
the
that was terrible.
non-Arnie version?
That was terrible.
Yeah, the one where they traveled
But
through
then
the
if you
center of
watch
the
the
earth.
Arnie version now, that's terrible. So
Yeah, but the one where they went through the center of the earth is almost as bad as that. It's an absolutely horrendous film, but like Dave said, it's highly watchable. I don't know what the Disney Plus King Kong version one's going to be like. I think it's going to be set in like the 20s or whatever in the past, and they say it's going to explore the
well, the
monsters.
original was the 1920s, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're going to explore the monster's origin. So that should be. I don't know. We might find it exciting. Might
Well,
find
we
it
know
fun.
the origin. He was found on Skull Island.
I can't remember. I don't know if the latest films they've done that, but it
Jack
wasn't
Black
always
found him,
Skull
didn't he?
Island, was it?
Oh.
Yes, it was. It wasn't man that killed the beast. It was beauty. I was like, yeah, I remember Jet Black. Oh God. You don't like my impersonations, right? So, as we discussed previously, Warner Brothers slaughtered a lot of films, and somehow The Flash is still going. Ezra Miller went in for rehab.
Again,
Yeah, and that's
it's
happening.
good when other people pay for it for you, though.
Yeah. And the directors of Batgirl, who was cancelled just before, I think they were doing the final edits on it, and it got cancelled. They tried to salvage clips of the film, but literally Warner Brothers locked that down. Like you can't, even the directors couldn't get hold of it,
Well, there's a reason for that.
and so they
They don't
tried
want
to
it
salvage
released.
it. They were trying to get some clips.
They just don't want it released. There's only one
Well,
man
yeah.
that have access to it, and that'd be Zack Snyder for the Snyder Cut.
Zack Snyder. There's not much love for him out there, is there? But yeah, that's also happened this week. So I tried to get. Would you want to see Batgirl? Were you ever into Batgirl? Like you weren't. No, I don't think you ever did the comic books or anything.
Did the comic book. I've had too much Bat, I think, in my life to last me a lifetime. Well, you know, they're making a different Bat film every year, and then they're making different Bat series. It's just too much Bat.
Hold on. I missed the punchline there. Is it sending you batty, Dave?
It's sending me Bat crazy.
Making you flap a bit.
But the same as Superman, isn't it? Every year there's a different Superman. It's
Yeah, but they're big money makers. I mean, people turn out for them. If you look at the last
yeah, but they like the new Superman. I really enjoyed the first season. This season, I just can't even sit there and watch it.
it was Lois and Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I think they chose the wrong characters for this one. The wrong sort of villains for this, because it's become very soap opera-ish. And then they introduced Bizarro.
It's just gone flat again.
Well, the kid who was I think there's some without powers, he's quit the show. Yeah, he quit the show last week. He hasn't come to set. And they're going to recast the role.
Isn't he Jonathan Kent as well?
Yeah. So that I don't know. Maybe he got fed up of it. He was like, I can't do this, man.
Ruining my career. I want superpowers.
He was actually talking about giving up acting, but now the next story, right? Some people say I've got a chip on my shoulder, but you can't blame me when I read stories like this, right?
Well, you have got a chip.
So
has the French fry, right?
Yeah, it's called you, right? So
that's racist.
So how's it racist?
Why'd you keep turning your camera on?
I just got to deal with some stuff over this side. I don't want people seeing how nuts. Can you stop it? Focus. Have you ever heard of FN Mika?
I'd like to say yeah, but no.
Right. So apparently, this dude creates a character called FN Mika. Now, FN Mika is an AI rapper. Okay, and it became
AI
he's on if you can find him on what should we call it, on TikTok still.
TikTok.
And he's proved quite popular with certain crowds. Now, what's interesting about this character is that obviously it was created by a white guy in France. But what's interesting is a record company actually gave him a contract. Actually gave him a contract. But what nobody checked was whether it was appropriate for the FN Mika AI or not to be using the M word.
Okay, so what is the AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but I know what AI stands for. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Well,
but is it what color?
You're running to.
Yeah, but most of these things they're like characters, like bloody gargoyles and shit.
It was an actual person. Okay. Like it looked like a person, but
so
with
like an android.
Yeah, it looked like an android. Had a like robot chin, like metal chin, and actually doesn't even look black.
So it was a cyborg looking, yeah.
Yeah, like I think
I'm trying to get a picture of it.
Oh, let me show you. I'll show you. Right. So basically,
don't worry about it. Just carry
on. So basically, Capitol Records gave this AI a contract. He's currently got 500,000 monthly Spotify subscribers and has more than 1 billion views on TikTok account. The Instagram account has 220,000 followers, but has been made private. The songs were actually performed by an anonymous black man, according to its creator, Anthony Martini, who's one of the co-founders of Factory New, a company responsible for the AI. What I find strange is that nobody bothered to check this before doing it. And I don't know, it ended up blowing up in their faces. Capitol Records dropped it. Dave, were you tempted to get the album?
Yeah. Is it on iTunes?
I honestly don't know. It's probably out there. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't looked that hard.
I just seen what it looks like. It just looks like something
a bit disturbing, right? It does, but that is the nature of the entertainment world. Somebody goes, "Let's do an AI robot." It's saying the N word all the time.
That's why.
I don't know. I'm intrigued that nobody bothered to check at Capitol Records. I don't. Is Capitol Records a big label? I think I've heard of them before, but I can't quite place them. Yeah. You think somebody would have checked before putting it out there? But the contract's been cancelled. The Instagram account's been locked. The TikTok's still there. I don't know what the remaining fallout of this will be, but somebody's going to get out of business, and it won't be me over this one. But yeah, that was a little bit of news for you. Moving on, as Dave's clearly not interested. Moving on.
It's like, like if I was still into rap music, like I was in the 90s and 2000s, then yeah, but rap is just rubbish.
Okay, well look, let's do a quick roundup of all the trailers I've got for you. Maybe one of these can interest you. Now I saw this trailer, and it's not the normal type of film we review on this, but the trailer looks superb, and I was actually taken with it. It's a little film called Empire of Light. I'll drop the link in the comment and on the podcast links. But it looks absolutely amazing. It looks beautiful. It's got Olivia Colman in it. It's, I think, set during the 80s, but it crosses a whole period of time. And I didn't know when I saw it, but it's directed by Sam Mendes, so it's got some caliber, if nothing else. And check that trailer out. I'll put it in the links for the podcast, but please do take a look at it. I think it just looks amazing. And like I said, there's very few films that I'll we don't normally do films like this, and it looks like it is a love story. And I don't mind a good love story. I don't know how you feel about a good love story, Dave, but I'm a big fan of a decent love story. But the trailer looks superb. It really, really does. So if you get a chance to take a look at
I'd
that.
watch anything, you know, mate.
I know,
Period
but do you
dramas,
like a good love
whatever.
story? I don't think I've ever known you to mention any love stories that you've ever watched.
Oh yeah, Romeo and Juliet was good.
Hey, there you go. That's good. That's one of my
there you go.
favourites.
Yeah, that was good.
Old what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that one. That was good.
Right, and next trailer up is the Banshees of Inisherin. Now, this film is, I know, it just look, it's a trailer, and it's got like at least two of my favorite actors in it, and I is Barry Keoghan. You know him. He's been in a few films, but you don't know him by name, but you'll know him when you see him. And Colin Farrell, right? And the film just seems to be, and Brendan Gleeson, sorry. And the film just seems to be Colin Farrell's character annoying Brendan Gleeson. And it's just weird, because it's like, imagine, you know, when sometimes you may be a bit lonely, but somebody acts as your friend and they just annoy you all the time. Like, you know, when I annoy you now and again, Dave.
Like now.
And you just feel the urge to tell me to go away. Or just imagine an extreme version of that. Imagine a really extreme version where you
I know
hated
where I've
me
seen
so
him now.
much.
I know I've seen him now.
Yeah,
He was in that
you
rubbish
hated
film,
me.
Batman.
You hate? Oh, you didn't like Batman, did you?
I hated Batman.
But
he was in Eternals. Yeah, I remember him now.
So Brendan Gleeson, basically, after years of sitting in a pub and being friends with Colin Farrell, ends up telling Colin Farrell that he hates him, and he doesn't want to hear one more story about what he found in his donkey's poop. He doesn't want to hear one more story about his day, and the entire film's just him, Colin Farrell, trying to find out why, and Brendan becoming that bit more angrier. And I don't know how long this film is. It could be 2 hours long, but the trailer looked really good. And I think I could easily go for that one. What about you? You like him in Colin Farrell, don't you?
I like Colin Farrell. I think he's a brilliant actor.
And
he was in the Batman as well.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson's been in quite a few things that you might or might not have seen. He was in The Guard, which I think is a great film.
The what?
In Bruges, he was in The Guard. It's when he plays an Irish cop.
I'm trying to think of The Guard. That was with what's her face with the blonde hair?
I don't know, but it's got him. It's got Don Cheadle, Mark Strong.
She was The Guard. Can't think of her name. Really famous actress. One was in Mad Max.
No, not in this one. I think you're thinking of a different film. Yeah,
it was a Netflix film.
No, not this one. But yeah, you could do. That's good trailer.
Well,
so catch that.
I just ruined it for you. So there you go.
It's the Banshees of Inisherin, and it's basically like if me and Dave hung out with each other for too long, how would be if like 30 years time, and Dave's just had enough of me on a podcast, and I don't want to hear about your podcast.
Charlize Theron's one was called the Old God.
Oh no, it wasn't that. I don't think Farrell's even in that. That's all right. You're allowed one step up per show.
Well, you said The God. It was still called The
God. Next up, we've got Slumberland, which is Netflix big release. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's got a bit of the old Superman crush, Jason Momoa, and it seems to be a fantasy tale about a young lady who discovers a secret map to the dream world of Slumberland. With the help of Jason Momoa, with the hope that she'll be able to see her late father again. It's a story about love, loss, and adventure, and that'll be coming to Netflix. I don't have a release date for it yet.
Oh, so that's gonna be a bad film then.
What's that?
It's gonna be a bad film.
Why is it gonna be bad?
Because Jason Momoa, whenever it does anything from Netflix, it's always rubbish.
When's the last time he done something for Netflix?
He done that film, The Girl, or whatever it was.
Did he? The Girl?
Yeah, something like that.
I honestly, how do you know this stuff? I watch Netflix all the time.
Because I watch TV, my friend.
The girl. All right, I'll check
Sweet
that one
girl.
out. Sweet girl.
Yeah.
What's that one about? What is that?
I don't know. It was one of the big things during COVID time. So, but
2021. Sweet girl. No, I haven't. How come I haven't seen this? I honestly, I don't think I've watched this. He looks angry in it. But no, in this
was
one,
it
in
Frontier? Was that
Slumberland,
Netflix as well?
I don't know. But
That
Slumberland,
was terrible.
he's not angry in this at all. He looks like a friendly companion, and he's got massive horns too. And it looks really good. It looks like, unlike a lot of Netflix stuff, it looks like they've got a big budget. And
If anyone wants to see Jason Momoa, I say just go and watch the first
If
season
anyone.
of C that comes out on Apple TV in end of September. There you go.
Yeah, go watch him in that. That is a really, really good show. But yeah, no, Sunderland's looking good. I'll put links again to all the trailers in the podcast and in the comments section. But yeah, that'll be coming to us, I think, end of the year sometime. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just before Christmas. Netflix are playing hard and close. November's the only information I can give you there. Outside of that, it'll be out before the end of the year. So, moving on next to our next story. This film. Like, I saw the trailer for this one. I was like, at first I wasn't taken with it, but then I watched it again. And I think it's a film that I might like. It's about two guys, and they're both trying to commit suicide. Again, I'm not liking this because it reminds me of me and Dave. Let's be quite clear. I like it because, again, it's about mental health.
Sorry.
I said it's about mental health.
I haven't tried committing suicide. I'm not Thelma and Louise, mate.
It's about mental health. And I think like, guys don't talk about mental health a lot, and it's been a subject that, especially on my other podcast, I've been covering. It's been a journey that I've been taking recently as well, and it's been something that, I don't think I've seen films approach it in this way. It's very dark humor, okay? So I'm warning you now. There are jokes and bad jokes in it, but at its core, it's about two guys. One's black, one's white. And they basically one day decide to end it all, but then they decide to have one more day and live their day like it's their last day, if that makes sense. So they go, yeah, but a bit more extreme. So they decide to go do the things they hadn't done before. And it just looked like, I'm not saying it looked fun, don't get me wrong, Dave, but one, I don't see a lot of films these days that deal with mental health in any sort of adult way. Most of the films that I see deal with any sort of mental health issues usually end up in violence, whether it's John Wick, Mr. Nobody, and the numerous films where if something tragic happens, you respond with ultimate violence. That's it. Although it makes for great entertainment, in reality, you're not necessarily going to kill half of New York's gangsters because they killed your dog. Just saying. And it looks like quite the entertaining film, and that's called
not John Wick, mate. I tell you, you're knocking the wrong film there.
Well, yeah, it'd probably kill me. And that's called On the Count of Three. Again, that'll be another trailer we put down. Now, moving on to that one, Lord of the Rings. Actually, we'll do that in a second. First of all, they dropped a trailer. I watched it once already, but Pinocchio, Disney Plus dropped a trailer for that just a few hours ago. And I don't quite remember watching the old film. I might actually try and watch that. Were you a big Pinocchio fan, Dave?
I've got no strings. The whole, yeah, I love Pinocchio.
Well, they're doing what you'd call a live version of that one, the Disney film. It looks like a few changes. It looks like a few different changes have been made. But outside of that, it looks like a pretty competent version.
Don't tell me he's not going to be made out of wood. It's going to be made out of something else.
But it's only going to be released on. No, okay. He still would, and he still gets a big nose every time he lies. But it looks like it's going to be on Disney Plus. It won't be going into the cinemas, which again I find a really strange choice by Disney. Something like Pinocchio,
once or twice a year, don't they? So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Disney Plus Day that's coming out.
What was that, September the 8th?
Yeah,
18th.
but I do find it kind of a strange choice. Out of all the Disney films, which are sort of unblemished by time and have sort of got a big following, Pinocchio was one of them. And I don't see why they couldn't release that in the cinema, because I think it would have done quite well, especially in the run up to Christmas.
Yeah,
Unless
but I
they,
don't know if it is certain things that they do go slow, don't they? Buzz Lightyear, that was not
yeah, Buzz
big.
Lightyear, I was surprised they released it in the cinema. I'm surprised the story got it had a good idea at the core of it, but by God, they could have done that better. They could have done it a
Took me
lot
three
better.
times to watch that.
I watched it in one go. I didn't hate it. I just thought overall it was a really depressing story. Because yeah, no, I don't think I was bored at any point. It was just at the core of Lightyear is the idea that he's a man out of time. Like choosing Chris Evans to do it, first of all, that was a bit on the nose. And then the whole story is about a guy who can't give up trying to save him fully, keeps going back through, pretty much traveling through time while everything's changing around him, and then he ends up on his own. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit weird, don't you think? It was a bit on the nose. Like just as Chris Evans is Captain America, he ends up out of time and missing everything.
I didn't think of that at the time, but yeah, I see.
Yeah, it was
how Captain America disappeared for all those years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, I can see why that wasn't a big hit. It just wasn't. It wasn't. There wasn't much fun in it, and you could have made that film without Buzz Lightyear, and I think it would have been a much better film. Yeah, but that's my personal take on the situation. But yeah, we'll see how that goes with that. But anyway, back to our final main story for tonight. We've got the Rings of Power. The first reactions coming in.
I'm gonna go on mute for
a bit. I'm not gonna do these spoilers. The first reactions.
Lord of the Rings. Do you think I really care?
The first reactions are coming
it's
in.
a no from me, as Simon Cowell would say.
And overall, the first reaction is quite positive. What I find quite interesting is there's been a huge campaign online by, I call them the Tolkien Taliban, to dismiss this film because they don't believe it follows the law or whatever. They're racist, but they're claiming they're not racist. But we'll see how that goes. They were terribly upset when they saw a dwarf that was black. God knows what they're going to make of Lenny Henry running across the screen. But any choice is theirs. There is going to be a short cinema release for.
I like that one. Short. Sorry, that's a bit.
That is not on. Oh, there's going to be a short cinema release on the 31st of August, which I may go and see. You up for that, Dave? 31st? Huh? You're not a Lord of the Rings fan at all, are you?
I hate Lord of
the Rings. You're gonna hate having to review this puppy.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I'm not gonna knock it. I will watch an episode maybe or two because I did that with that Wheel of Time and I didn't mind that.
Wheel of Time, yeah. I mean, I read the books. The books are very old and cheesy, so I'm surprised they actually like cheesy in a way that Lord of the Rings isn't cheesy. It's really, it really is a very cheesy story, and I was quite surprised Amazon chose that book to turn into a series, and I was really surprised.
Because every time I've knocked something, I've always changed my mind. So.
Nothing wrong with that. That makes you better.
I will have a look. But The Expanse, I still stick with.
The Expanse, the greatest sci-fi show to ever grace television. Right, so on from that, we're now going to go into from the screen to the couch. From the screen to the couch, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is our special section where we talk about all the stuff we've actually watched over the past week or so. Now, I've lost track of what we've actually reviewed.
It's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
But these ones I think are all new ones. So we'll do House of the Dragon last.
Well, that's definitely new. It only came out on Monday.
Yeah. First of all, we'll do Carter, because I know you haven't watched Carter. But if you watched right, so Carter's a Korean action film, and if you watched Hardcore Henry,
Oh God, is this all subtitled as well?
no, it's
Is it
actually all in
dubbed?
English. There is some dubbing, but only a little bit. It's set in Korea. It's just like Hardcore Henry. So the action is all, they try and make it look like it's one long shot, like the whole film's one long shot. But you can see, if you've done any sort of film, you can see where the cuts are. But it's still pretty impressive. It stars nobody, Ju Won, who plays Carter Lee, and lots of other people who Kim Bowman, who plays Hana Jung, and lots of other people who are basically just fighters.
Is this a TV show or a film?
No, film. It's a film, and the only people you might recognize are Mike Coulter, who plays Agent Smith, and there's a few other faces that pop up that you might recognize. But it is very much a South Korean action film. And my God, when I say action, it's non-stop with this. Pretty much 2 minutes into the film, violence and action all the way. And it does not stop until the end. And even at the end, it's still going.
Is it done by the same people who've done the raid?
Possibly, because I'm telling you this much: so many people die in this. It's not even right. It's like everybody dies. Okay, you're either on the receiving end of a beating, or you're on the receiving end of a bullet. But everybody should learn a lesson. Don't mess with Carter. I don't know why anybody messes with this. Like, after first few deaths, it'll be like, just let him go. No, why is anybody putting a gun at him? Why is anybody trying to shoot him? He I think it's got the highest death count I've seen in the film for a long time. But it's highly enjoyable. It's just too long. It's 2 hours, I think, and a bit in terms of length. And I had to watch it. And Dave knows me. I prefer to watch films in one setting. I don't like coming back to them or falling asleep or anything like that.
How many times have you watched Secret Headquarters?
I watched that in one sitting.
You've done the whole film?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so it's just it's 90 minutes.
I didn't even do the film.
Yeah.
It was so bad I turned it off.
It is bad. We spoke about that last time. I can't.
I don't think we did. I think I told you to watch it.
I think we didn't review it because I was waiting for you to watch it, but it hurt my feelings, and I really, 2 hours and 12 minutes, Carter is, and it's too long. There's too much going on. The camera jerking is unnecessary, and it's mostly to cover up a really bad plot. But it's like an unending game. It doesn't stop. The pace is relentless, and it leads to people doing stupid things. But also, the problem with filming like that, especially when you've got one protagonist, is that, I'm sorry, when he's surrounded by 10 guys, you always spot the guy in the background and pretend he's doing something just to cover time until he's meant to jump in and attack. Because if you were surrounded by 10 guys and they all had knives, you're dead. But in this film, obviously, the protagonist can't die, and there's only so many people that can stab him at one time. So there's too many scenes like that in this film. And also, at the end of the day, the plot doesn't make much sense, and it's daft. But if you truly want mindless action for 2 hours and 12 minutes, this is your film. If you loved Hardcore Henry, you'll love this. I didn't hate it.
Awesome.
But it after the first hour, I was like, I'll come back later. If I'm gonna give it a rating, 5 for trying. 5. Yeah, they tried. I can't dismiss the fact, like, there's nothing wrong with the performers. There's nothing wrong with compared to other action films. But 2 hours of Hardcore Henry and the camera following the protagonist and the way it's filmed, and it does get daft in the second half. So, but it's fun, but it's in no way, shape, or form would that have been good in the cinema. That got released in the cinema, and really, it's not going to give Netflix's reputation any much good. So it gets a solid 5 from me. Dave, you didn't watch it, so we'll move on to the next one.
So we're going to give that a solid 0.
You probably will.
Yeah, I watched Day Shift. That's the one with the vampires, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
So
I
you
really
watched
enjoyed
it.
that. I really enjoyed it.
Right, so Day Shift, that was released in last week, and that's it stars Jamie Foxx with guest appearances by Sneak Doggy Dog, and it's got Dave Franco, the still acting brother of James Franco, and what is it? Natasha Liu Bordizzo, Megan Good. Megan Good, I've heard of her before. I can't remember where I've seen her before. Carla Souza, Steve Howie.
Saw her in Day Shift.
Yes. And it follows. It's basically Blade. What is it? Blade? No, it's not Blade. It's more.
No, it's not Blade.
It's more Training Day, is how I would describe this, but with vampires and without the corrupt cop. Or he's corrupt, but he's not that corrupt. It's a weird film. It's a vampire film.
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but
I think it's more like Van Helsing.
Like yeah, it had a lot of comment with Van Helsing. It had a lot of good jokes in it. It had Snoop Dogg. It doesn't do much in it, but it's fun to see him on the screen, and he does come across as quite cool. Overall,
But this is his second vampire film, isn't it? He done that film Bones.
Oh yeah. I don't know how I feel about it.
I think it was an enjoyable watch. It was one of those spoof comedy vampire films.
Yeah, spoof, and again, it's Jamie Foxx's, I think, third film for Netflix. He's done this one. He's done the Superpowers, and I think he's done another one. And again, I've enjoyed everything he's done. I don't know. He's done a TV series, which was, as far as I'm concerned, rubbish, comedy show. But yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed it. I think it could have done with more. It could have done with a better supporting cast. It could have given, I don't know, the lore could have been a bit better. But overall, I enjoyed it. I don't know. It was just missing a bit of something.
I think it was a good, enjoyable film.
Yeah,
it's one of those that you can sit there, you watch it, you say, "Oh, that wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I'll give that. I think I'll give that.
Not a blockbuster, but it's an enjoyable film. It's an enjoyable watch.
It was all right. I think it could have done with a bit more of everything. It could have done the the VFX at points is terrible.
There's no budget on that, so.
Yeah. And for that reason alone, I can only give this film a 6.5, a 6.5. Because the bad VFX takes out of it a bit, and also I don't know, it just felt like
when they kept on killing Dave Franco.
Yeah, it could have done with a bit more scripting. I think, like the whole, "Oh, honey, I couldn't tell you I'm a vampire hunter." That whole process just seemed a bit laboured, and they could have done a bit more of it. And a 6.5 is a respectable score.
Yeah, I think I'd probably give. I was say about 7, 6.5 around that area. It's
definitely watchable.
Watch, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely watchable. It's just all that, and I think it could have done a bit more. Could have done with being a bit more frightening.
It's a spoof comedy.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg's in it. What more can you ask for? Snoop
Bounty
Doggy. Whoa. Snoop.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, don't go with Deja Vu.
Right, what else there? Where were we? So next up, we've got what should we do first? Let's do She-Hulk. She-Hulk, attorney at law.
Turn my screen off this.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right for a first time. It reminded me of Ally McBeal. It's got one of my favorite.
Green version of Ally McBeal.
Yeah, green version of Ally
Fed
McBeal.
version.
Anyway, and yeah, She-Hulk, attorney at law. I think it was quite good. Tatiana Ali, I've got all the time in the world for her. I think she's an amazing actress. I think she was a top pick for this. and because she was in Orphan Black, which I think is a great series. It's only 30 minutes long, so there's not much to say about it. It's got the return of Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Best mate's got Ginger Gonzaga, who plays Nikki Ramos, also a friend, and Jamila Jamil, who brings in first time appearance. Huh? Jamila?
I didn't see her in that.
Who? Jamila Jamil? She's
Titania.
Yeah,
she was in the first episode.
Yeah, she was. Remember the fight? Hulk lays her out.
Must have to watch it
again. And it's a first outing. I think we should save reviewing this until the end of the series, because I think it would be unfair to rate this on just the first 30 minutes, as you don't get much of a feel of it. And there's a lot more to come in the next few episodes. Like, I know Charlie Cox is in there. You've got Benedict Wong, who is in.
Yeah, I think Wong will be in this episode because they've been advertising that a lot with him in it.
And Tim Roth. So I think at the moment I'm branching near the sevens mark. But
see what they should have done with this, like being a superhero. Now she's got the cut from the Hulk from the car crash. Is that she should be the lawyer to the superheroes after they smash up the cities and stuff. That's what they should have done. Like Wong destroys a building, it's like, oh, you're getting sued for this.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen in the next few seasons. There's going to be lots of strange clients walking through a door. But again, wait and see. Time will tell. Next up, but like I said, I think I'm branching around the 7, but we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to get better in the next couple of weeks. It was getting a lot of flack because of VFX. I was okay with it. What did you think, Dave? Were you happy with the?
No, special effects was okay. It was the same special effects as the Hulk, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, and look, I grew up with a Hulk where they just painted the dude green. So
that's what I mean. They painted the dude green or painted the woman green. So
Lou Ferrigno, oh god,
yeah.
They should have brought him back.
That wig.
Yeah, and but yeah, I'm perfectly happy with it. Next up, Sandman. Dream.
I haven't finished it.
You haven't finished it. All right, what we do? How many?
It's just got too bizarre to me. It's saying to like gods.
All right, well, I'm gonna review. I don't have. I reviewed. I'll review it. Sandman. I'll do a quick review of it. Please watch it. It's not guaranteed for a second season unless it does spectacularly well. It's written by Neil Gaiman. I think it's altogether 8 episodes. It's the most stunning TV I've ever seen. It's got a superb cast. Out of all the shows I've seen, it really nails the diversity side of things really well, which a lot of shows have struggled with. And when I say it's got a superb cast, we are talking Tom Sturridge's Dream. You've got Boyd Holbrook as Corinthian. Patton Oswalt plays a Raven. In terms of other characters, Rose Walker, Vanessa Samurai, Desire, Mason Alexander Park. You've got all these names. You've got a good friend of mine in there, Sarah Niles in there at one point, Jenna Coleman. It's just this massive cast. Every scene is a meal. There's one episode which is just a bit long and a bit difficult to get through, but once you get through, it's brilliant. It's the one with Dave Foulis, who plays somebody who tries to make everybody's dreams or worst fears come true. And it's just a brilliant episode, but it is a bit hard to watch at points.
Is that the one after the woman kills people? The black lady, she just takes them away. She kills them.
Yes, she doesn't kill him, but that's the one after that.
But she's the murderer. She kills them all. She takes them away.
Oh no! You'll stop it. That's spoilers. But no, that's. But yeah, please watch this show. I don't know if I've given any shows a 10 out of 10 this year.
Don't tell me you give it a 10.
But I'm going to give this show a 10. Yes, because it's that good. It is the best bit of entertainment I've had all year.
It's okay.
I've
I
watched
won't
it
give
again.
it
Again. Look. I'm giving it a 10 because I think it deserves a big fat juicy 10.
Give it what you want, but I'm gonna give them the proper score when I finish.
But it's the top of my entertainment for the year so far. I think it's the best thing Netflix has done this year. And although Netflix has had a lot of lows, every year they seem to come up with something that's brilliant. Whether it's something like Sweet Tooth or this, that just stands heads and shoulders above anything else out there. And this show's one of them.
So that's 11 episodes.
Yeah, they dropped They dropped an extra episode last week.
Really?
Yeah, because an episode they hadn't
An
included.
extra one, 104 minutes.
Yeah, and it's extra. It's got 2 stories in it, and they're 2 great stories that are in the original
3 episodes
comic book.
to go. So.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth the watch. I would say give it a shot if you can. I understand that if you haven't read the comic book, it could be a bit of a mission, but I've got nothing but love for this show. So yeah, that's
why I'm struggling.
That's my gold mark for that one. And last but not least, we're moving on to the no spoiler review of Hot D, otherwise known as House of the Dragon. This is the sequel to the prequel, if you will.
Sequel to the prequel.
The sequel to the prequel. The prequel to the main film.
Well, it's the rubbish Star Wars time. What is it? It's episode 1.
Look, what this is, and I'd say I was mighty impressed.
This is the one I probably would give it
10. What I'll say is this.
It's got a good 9 so far. Just for Doctor Who being a badass.
House of
Matt Smith is an eye opener on this one. I tell you, it's really good.
House of Dragon. It was the first episode was released on Monday. It stars Paddy Considine, Emma Darcy, Matt Smith, Rhys Ifans, Steve Toussaint, Eve Best, and lots of other top names, Shakespearean actors, and all sorts in it. It's very British actor heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think there's
all the Game of Thrones was as well. So
I don't think there's any Americans in it. But it's basically set. I think is it 200 years.
174 if you read the actual script when it came out.
I'm only reading the storyline link here. The story of House Targaryen is set 200 years before the event of Game of Thrones.
174.
I'm just saying what they've written here.
They should have written it properly, like it was written.
Now, please, ladies and gents, do not make the mistake of watching this with your parents, unless you've got a very open-minded parents.
No spoilers.
Don't make that mistake. It's only going to hurt. This show has got the advantage that it's not carrying a lot of the baggage that Game of Thrones ended up carrying. 2, the dragons are front and center in this in a way that they weren't in Game of Thrones
as well.
And yeah, it's I don't think in this first episode, I don't think I'd seen anything as gruesome in the previous series.
No,
and I think there's
I was like this going when they tied her down.
Don't, Dave. Spoilers, bro.
I just tied her down. No spoilers.
It's medieval in its approach to stuff, and European medieval at that. There's
and that's
at least
how Game of Thrones should have been.
Yeah, well, it was for the most part.
I think they've gone the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings upped it a bit. I think this is taking it on a whole new level, and it's got dragons. Matt Smith has blown everybody away as a villain, but I've always said he'd make a great villain.
He was brilliant.
He'd make a good villain, and make a good villain he does in this. Or is he the villain? You see, people always make mistakes.
I don't think he is the villain. I think he's just been like Jon Snow. He's just been thrown away.
Yeah, and also I think people always. The one thing I liked about Game of Thrones, it was never particularly clear who was bad guys or not in this. There was always a grey area with most of the characters, apart from Joffrey. And I think
the other one.
Which one?
The sausage one.
True. True.
He was evil. He was proper evil.
And there's a lot of sausage that there is sausage that goes flying in this as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this progresses and if they're going to be able to carry on for a strong story with this. HBO, it's already HBO's highest rated show. And it'll be interesting to see if a lot of fans will come back to it, especially a lot of people who swore off of Game of Thrones after the last episode of the last season.
I actually think this is going to be really good. I think this is probably going to be better.
I think hopefully it will be. Like I said, they've got rid of a lot of the baggage. George R. R. Martin's more involved in it. And also, I think they're willing to change cast a lot more often than they were in the Game of Thrones. I think if they had a cast change in the in Game of Thrones, it would have been better than what they ended up doing. Because as I said, one of the bigger problems with Game of Thrones was that, you know, asking actors to dedicate 10 years of their life to a show like this, and it would be 10 years because it would be more like 15, 12 years maybe of their lives.
It'd be 100 years.
No, I mean, like, you know, of your career, a big portion of career, you're not going to want to do it. And I think that's where shows like this perhaps struggle a lot.
I don't think shows are going to last 10 seasons anymore, though, because technology is just going too far ahead.
Not with this grade of actor, and it's no offense to people who you know, I'm not saying some actors are rubbish, but if you're an actor that's used to doing your own thing and doing stage and moving to the next project, why would you want to tie yourself down to the same thing for that long? But this is looking good.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but they do that with all like the Avengers and stuff like that. They tie down big years of projects.
True, but even the Avengers
are you going to be in it in the long haul or not?
Yeah, but even the Avengers changed up eventually, and them actors were able to go and do.
Well, they haven't until now. It's been a good 10 years.
Yeah, but they were able to go and do other stuff. It's like the guy who played Jon Snow. He wasn't able to cut his hair while he was in Game of Thrones.
Well, that's a bit stupid. But the Queen could.
Yeah, I think so, because she was in no, but her hair was cut during the show, wasn't it? She was in what do we call it?
Yeah, she had short hair in Judge Dredd, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, maybe she
was that a wig? Yeah.
No, but her hair was short in Game of Thrones, wasn't it?
Yeah, when they cut her hair for shame.
Yeah. So she got that scene. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see where this show goes. I didn't have a problem with the ending of Game of Thrones as such because I thought it made
pathetic.
Sense.
It was
it was badly executed, but
I don't know. So much better.
I don't know what people expected to happen. Like, oh, she died, but I'm like,
well, that's the trouble with these shows. People fall in love with the character. That's what you're saying. You need to be able to get rid of them.
Let it go.
And that was what's so good about Vikings. They kept on rotating the castle.
True, but it wasn't the same after
Ragnar.
Yeah, after Ragnar died, it was kind of like
I don't know. Bjorn took over quite well.
Yeah, it was all right. So yeah, well, as we move forward, like I said, the first episode dropped on Monday. I thought it was really, really good. This episode, it was a nice introductory episode. Introduced most of the characters we're going to meet or run up through. There are a few uncomfortable moments, like I said, Game of Thrones is the home of bad parenting. It really is. Like, the parents in this don't care about, I'm sorry, especially the daughters. They don't care about the daughters in this. Like, there's a scene where my man's just like, he says something to his daughter, and I'm like, that's raw. Like, yeah. There's very little difference between a pimp and a parent in this.
He was definitely a pimp.
Yeah, there's very little difference between a pimp and a parent when it comes in Game of Thrones, and that's so like the series, the scene is calm, but what's going on is horrific, and I think they've set up another storyline in that moment. Is probably the most important storyline in that series has opened up. And I think we'll find out for reasons as we move forward later on down the story. But it's going to be interesting to see where this plays out. And they're very front and center with the dragons, and I think that's in itself is quite interesting.
And they all seem to have their own dragon, don't they? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of them
I know
around.
that Matt Smith had his own dragon, and she had her own dragon.
Well, yeah, everybody's got their own dragon, apart from what's his name, Seafarer. I'm not saying it's racist, but the black guy doesn't have his own. But I'm not saying anything. He's a seafarer.
Hey, he's got white dreads.
True.
He's one of the blondes.
So he's one of the Targaryen. No matter what they supposedly not racist fans say online. But yeah, it's looking good. I think from the look of this, it's definitely in the upper echelons of a score so far. As an opening episode, I'm happy to give it like 8. You'll go for a 9. I'm going for an 8.5.
I like the jousting and the road games.
That was brutal. I think that was too brutal. It's like there's no way you'd get that sort of brutal.
It was just medieval Britain, wasn't it? I loved it.
Yeah, but even then, during jousts, you never kill people. Do you know what I mean? What
they did. They used to fight to the death.
No, that was only in duels, not during the
No, they used to joust and then get off their horse and.
No, that was trust me. You've
been watching too much of that blonde Aussie guys film. Night Style. You've been watching too much of that, my friend.
Do you know what? I've never watched that film. I saw a trailer for it, and they were playing a medieval version of "We Will Rock You." At which point, I said, "I'm never gonna watch that."
You should watch it.
No,
Vision's in it.
We will. No, it just doesn't work. It's like Dirty Dancing, and I've got time of my life. That song shouldn't be in there. So yeah, that's all happened as such. Dave's given it a 9. I've given it a 8.5. I'm quite happy with that.
Really
and there you go. That's the.
We've got She-Hulk out somewhat this week, and
we've got some more She-Hulk. So we'll have some more of that for next week, and I think the week after we'll have reviews for how the Lord of the Rings coming through, and the second episode obviously of House of Dragon should drop next Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, there is some happiness I wish to leave you with, and again I'll put it in the links. Every now and again something touches my cold dark heart and makes me think of the joy I had when I looked at films when I was a small kid. I've got infinite amounts of enjoyment from it. In the links there's a link called Runner Studios to the World. And it just caught my eye. It caught my eye, and basically it is linked to a channel, and it's basically all these little kids from. I don't have any more deals. I think it's like either South Africa or Nigeria. I can't tell, but they've set up their own little movie studio, and it's just them making film like scenes from various films, and it's just the most. They have so much fun doing it. Some of the films I do question how their parents allowed them to watch it. Like they've done a scene from Squid Games. They do John Wick, and they add in the special effects as well. Like even Kingsman, they do a little clip of that one. And I would encourage you to just watch it if you're feeling a bit depressed, because it is amazingly fun to watch. But what I would also say is, where are these kids' parents and how they let them watch films like this? Because some of the films are like, if I had kids, no, you know, why are you watching that? Look out for the best ones. Look out for stuff like Stranger Things 4, where they do a version of like all these clips are only a few minutes long, but they do a version of Stranger Things 4. They somehow do a really good version of Kingsman. You know the fight scene in the church. Dave?
Carry on.
The Kingsman scene in the church, they do a version of that. Seriously, if you get a chance, watch this stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. It's very entertaining.
Way too much time on your hands, I tell you.
And it shows the love of film, which I appreciate. Like, even though a lot of these films are inappropriate for these kids to watch, it shows the love of film and filmmaking, that they go to so much effort just to entertain people. And by God, it is very entertaining. So I'll put the link in the podcast. Please do watch it if you can't, if you get a chance. Like their stuff. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. I'm sure they'll subscribe to ours as we move on. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was your latest episode of the world's soon-to-be finest podcast, the boys from Bossk. Ladies and gentlemen, Good night.
Bye.